All right, welcome back to the channel, and a welcome back to me as well, because I have not been able to do this. I've played offline a couple of times just to kind of get my bearings again with the game, and I had the joy in one of them of having Finland lose, which is almost impossible. Uh, what had happened was I've got this neat thing at the start where I isolate a Russian unit and destroy it, and then the other Soviets now down near Vyborg, I had surrounded them too after taking the city back, and they got in behind me, and with just one unit, he kind of got squeezed behind me when I was pinching, and he ran to the surrender line. That was it. So that was educational. For those of you who don't know, last year was a very interesting year. And we had Hurricane Helene in the fall, and I had to evacuate from my house for a couple months because we didn't have any power, sewer, water, or a road. I lost my road. We're going in and out. We're still going in and out through backyards of neighbors, which has become more formalized now, and they've got gravel laid down and that kind of thing. So it's an interesting time. So I was up in Virginia working off a laptop for a couple months. Went on a few vacations, went to a pirate festival for a friend of mine. I dress up as a British admiral from the 1700s. I'm not interested in being a pirate. I'm the stirred voice of authority, right? So, and it's very well needed a lot of the time. There's a lot of people who want to be pirates. So to come back to this, it's interesting. I find that I play the game one way, and I really want to try something different. And so I'm going to try it this time, and it could be an absolute disaster. So we're going to start a game. Brand new game. One of the fun things in here is I got a couple more LED lights in this office, and so they just brighten everything up on the sides, which really helps with the green screen. So I hope you had a good year. I wasn't terrible. I mean, I have money, so I could do what I wanted. We went to Gatlinburg a couple times. We went to the coast in North Carolina. I'm actually going back to Topsail Island in a week to hang out at a beachfront condo for, I think I have 3 nights booked there because we liked it so much. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to take along a video camera that I got. It's like a real video camera. It's not a just. I've got one of those camcorders as well. It's a nice one, but yeah. But this one's an actual video camera with all the lenses, the EF and EFS mount lenses that I've got for my cameras work on it. So that was a major reason why I got it. Okay, I'm just going to play Historical, Mild Winter, Geneva Convention, and Easy. I'm going to make it as easy as I can. Some people can complain about that. I don't really care. This is the first time playing this thing. Really in a long time. Promise not to lose Finland. Oh. Interesting. So yeah, I've got a creek outside the back of my house, and all the water came rushing down the Continental Divide from Black Mountain, and it went from a piddly little thing that's normally like a foot deep to 15 feet. And it swept away houses on the other side, stilt houses, and didn't quite get up to me. I was very lucky. There's one house below me that didn't get flooded, and everyone else did below that. And there's maybe a dozen homes up here. But without internet, I couldn't run my business. Without a sewer, And so I stayed here for 5 days after it, and I was the I don't know what you call it, the comms guy, I guess. I'm a bit of a prepper. I have a lot more stuff now, but I had all the radios and some of this stuff, but it's really filled out now. Like even doing something like doing dishes. And you're outside on a picnic table trying to do dishes in like a casserole dish or something like that. Like, you've never really thought about this before, right? It's a pain in the ass with like bottled water. It doesn't work. So now I've got a battery operated pump that could be a shower head or a water sprayer. I've got collapsible sinks. I've got a toilet, and stuff, so I don't have to rely on a sewer system, an outdoor shower. I'm never getting stuck like that again now that I know exactly what it's like. So, from that, an invasion of the Soviet Union sounds pretty straightforward. I think we could do it. So if you've never played this game before, it's a hex based 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 standard military unit type game. It's big, it's sprawling. It has a great logistics system, and in my opinion, for those of us who like such things, it's a lot of fun. So this is a first turn. It's divided into army groups, north, center, and south, just like in real life. These units here in the far south, the Romanians and the 11th Army, will not move on the first turn. This is like a pre-turn to kind of talk to the Nazi leadership and see what happens. So this is our pre-start turn. I'm going to just put this up so that people can read it. You can pause it if you want. So Keitel, doesn't really like me. But von Bock really does like me. He likes me. That's far more important. All right, summon to Berlin. So Big Boss wants us there. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to support his plans, go for Moscow or bust, or demand total military independence? Now, the problem with these bottom two is he doesn't like that. He wants to maintain control. And so using the political points, you're gonna get those cut if you go with these approaches. I don't really care what he says anyway. I just do my own thing. And he can change it halfway through anyway. So, what's the point? So I'm going to support the plans. He's happy. I want those relationship points. There they are, the PP bonus. And so we're to go to Leningrad. We're going to destroy some army HQs. Rostov in the south and Moscow in the center are, tertiary targets. Press a key. All right. Now we're talking about the Eisenbahn Troop. These are construction battalions for the railway. See, the Russians, I believe they had a narrower gauge, if I remember correctly. I've probably explained this like 5 times in these series, but I'll just cover it quickly. And so the Germans had to physically lift one up and move it over a couple feet, or maybe just like 11 inches or something like that. You can look it up, and drop it. So that the gauge would be wide enough for the German trains to run over it. And so this is a huge limiting factor on bringing supplies in and how fast and how far we can invade. And, of course, the Russians aren't just going to stand by and let this happen. If they are able, they will have partisan groups. They will have the Red Army roaming around trying to shoot these guys and stop them. So the basic challenge here is that my boss does not like it, General Brockett. She does not want army guys to bother themselves with logistics. He doesn't think that it's, worthy of an officer's thinking, which is kind of weird considering, you figure you'd been through the General Staff College and knew this stuff. So anyway, it's asking me to select the route for Army Group North and Center. So Army Group North is above this red line here. And you've got a couple choices. You can go to Riga and beyond to Lim. Or you can come up through Kaunas, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Daugavpils, and Ostrov, and go on that way. I usually go this way. The problem with this, and in all of them, is especially this bridge, okay? They're probably going to blow it, and then it's going to take like 4 to 6 turns of random number generation to get a score to build that bridge again. And so that's going to kind of tie us up. The stuff's coming from Koningsberg, I believe, maybe even farther to the... I don't see the forward supply base, but that's okay. I think that's where it is, to the west. So not only do we have to bust our way out of here, take these towns, destroy as many of the units as we can of the Soviets, we've also got to be mindful of these railways. And before we move to our next supply base, obviously the bridge has to be fixed and the railway has to be converted and it has to be operational. So it kind of gets ugly. In the center, it's like, are you going to go up and over? Or are you going to go, like I usually do, Brest-Litovsk to Minsk to Orsha to Smolensk and on towards Moscow. In the south, there's not much of a choice at the beginning. You've got to go through Lvov to Prskuro, but then you could choose to go to Kyiv or Odessa. But Odessa has the problem of not really having a railway here to Nikolaev. So then are you going up here and down and across? Or are you crossing at Kyiv, going to Kursk and darting south again to Pavlograd and then on the way to Rostov? If you can get here, you're probably going to take Rostov. Rostov is one of the easier ones. I usually find Leningrad fairly easy to take. Rostov is just a slugfest. And Moscow, kind of difficult, surprisingly. It's not, I know, difficult for everybody, but I tend to get my units tired, especially the tank units. They're worn out like they were in real life by the time we get to here. And that last push just seems to be really difficult, where the Rzhev meat grinder here really is blocking us from getting over to Moscow. And that's where I ended up at the end of my last game that I played a couple weeks ago offline. So, Army Group North, we're going to go with the Donneberg-Luga line. And in the center, we're going to do the Brest-Litovsk, Minsk, Smolensk. And so the train guy is happy that I have made a choice. All right, the back's starting to go. Okay, so that is that, and we will end our turn. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. And it's got a pretty good AI system before there was AI the way that we know it. These are directives and stuff like that. More color. We do... Oh, I am dumb. I don't know if I could have played the cards last turn, but I should have. Let's see here. Can I play an officer card? How do I do that? Officer info. Well, I wonder if we have to wait a turn. And as you can see, while these armies can move in the south, these guys cannot. They didn't even ask me this time if I wanted to get help from our Romanian allies or what. That's really weird. Maybe because it's on easy mode. I don't know. Easy. Still tough enough for most people, huh? Okay. All right, let's begin the war by invading. And I think a 10% bonus is good. You want to stay underneath that number if you can for the stack. That's kind of your power total and based on the number of hexes that you're touching it with and attacking it through. So I'm only touching it with 2 of those 6. But this isn't bad. This is, under 10%, right? But if I tried to jam 300 in there, I would get a lot of people killed on our side. Did I miss something? I guess I gotta press attack. Okay. There's multiple ways of viewing this. You can view it as a simple graphic. You can go into extreme detail, which I never look in here. I spend most of my time on these textual reports. I can see what happened. And so it was a pretty good start. So I definitely want people out. And I would like to attack this. That's a headquarters unit. It's got a weak tank unit underneath it. So let's see what I can do, because that's a gimme. And all I'm doing right now is trying to get my 4th Panzer Group out there. I'm very curious where those officer cards are. Maybe you have to assign, and actually I should have done that first. The command focus yeah. Okay. So if you don't have a positive relationship with the commander, I think it's von Lieb up here, you can't pick a Panzer Group, but you should if you can, okay, to get that. So we're going to play the card. Yeah, it's von Lieb. And we're going to pick for our Army Group Center. Hopefully we can pick Guderian. We can. Panzer Group 2. And for the south, if we can do Panzer Group 1, that's great. Okay. Now, the Luftwaffe, I didn't even get asked D-Day questions, like D-Day +2. How long do we want them to do strategic bombing? That's really interesting. Okay, so we have artillery, which is aggressive, or counter battery fire, which is defensive. So right now, since we're on the attack, we're blitzkrieging, right? We want to use this. So I like to give it to the 16th Army because I want them to punch through here towards Kaunas. Artillery Army Group Center. You're kind of crazy not to pick the 4th Army because it's huge. And in the south, I usually like to pick the 11th Army or the 17th Army, one or the other. The 11th Army could sure use it. I'm going to stick with the strategy that I usually do use in the south, which is you want to come down this valley, I guess, and join up, right? Join the 11th Army and the Romanians with the 17th Army and have the 17th Army come down as the hammer to push north and south of this river while these guys hold their ground and wait for relief and try and attack in this direction. Hopefully take Odessa or get near it. It's not always possible. I had the Romanians chasing around a few units here and not able to get up there for the longest time last time I played. So, all right, I feel like we're going to have to wait a turn to be able to use those cards. Yeah. All right. Fine. Let's get you up there. Anybody hidden? Just that one guy. Oh, he's fine there. So, and I want the 18th Army the heck out of here. I want them as far forward as possible. And that's fine, they can still attack. Okay. So I definitely want to go after this. It's fine. to 11 out of 200, 10%. I want to try and kill some of these headquarters people. And there's the staff. They got away. That's very annoying. All right, tots. And so we could beat on this. Take these off. I guess why not? We do double their firepower. So the math worked out for us. But, you know. And they didn't retreat either. That's not a bad thing. We could fight. I'm going to try and get around them, though, instead. I think that's more interesting. There we go. No, can't go forward anymore. All right. So I usually like to send 3rd Panzer north to try and come around and do the Scorpion or the Bull's Horns behind Minsk, and the 2nd Panzer Group to come up from the south and meet up, cut everybody off here. So I need to get this out of the way and taken care of. That's the very first thing. But on the other hand, I also want to get down here and capture people if I can. So I'm going to start with just football blocking my way into here. And trying to open up some space here. And the math is very good, right? It didn't cost us anything to do that. Now, these swamp hexes, tanks and vehicles can't go in there. So I need a troop unit for that. Whoop. There we are. Just infantry, or else it's not going to happen. Well, like I said, I want to try something different this time. Yeah, didn't hurt us. And I'm trying not to use tank units if I can find motorized divisions. I think that would be good. And as you can see here, we've got quite a bit of fuel to work with. Let me get my commanding unit down here. Best if they're within a hex. That's where they really get good multiplier results for the troops that they're working with. Alright. You cannot do a thing. Oh, they didn't move him. Oh my goodness. That's a shocker. Alright, let's turn these guys off. That's a real surprise that they didn't bump him out. I don't know if he had really good, what's the word I'm looking for? Entrenchment or not. Okay. I'm trying to bump this guy out of here. Again, it's not great. What I want to be able to do is cover these hexes, because that's on this side of the line, and these units, like 16th Army, shouldn't come over the line and go in the south. These units in Army Group Center shouldn't go into Army Group North. There's a small penalty for doing so. So we'll continue on as we're able, and the question is, what do I want to try and surround? I guess I could bump this out. Maybe try and get in there, although I'm not sure. Or I could move these guys a little bit, try and push this guy back, and make these the isolated units. It's a toughie. I'm going to go with this one. Huh. They definitely want me to do that. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to use everybody, but we do want to smack. Okay, so let's get the units we've already used and have them do a little ganging up here with these tanks. 303. That turned out pretty good. So I do not want to move these after the fact, right, into the other territory. I will move. No, can't do it. Okay. And that's fine. $65. Can I get you? No, not really, huh? I really want to be able to go after this guy, but they won't let me do it. Let's see. 70. Nope. They all want me to hit this guy, and that's exactly what I don't want to do. There's no more movement left. I want to get into this swamp, but I can't. Not this turn. All right. A couple more infantry divisions here. And we'll just build this up a little bit. What have we got? Nothing. We could probably go after this. Just okay. It wasn't without cost, but it also wasn't that bad either. Nope. Nope. Nobody wants to move on, huh? Yeah, the stronger enemy's up here, so I'm going to leave the 2 tank divisions up there. Nothing's going to happen here. They're not going to push back. Just back out of the line of fire. All right. Let's figure out what we want to do here. Just probably beat up on this cavalry. That H is for Hugo's division, which they will give us some commentary on. Hugo can die. It's not the end of the world if he does. That's fine. Their motorized division. Okay. See, we can't get into there. I might if I knock this out. It's possible. It's possible. Let's see. Yeah. I don't think there's anyone with enough movement points. You certainly cannot. 31 tank. that's a gimme. I'll do that all day. Oh, come on. So, similar problem here. I want to get at everyone. In this area, so I gotta knock these guys out of the way. Because I'd like to take Brest-Litovsk this turn. Or at least surround it. So I'm just attacking from across the way. Interesting. Let's get Desreich up there. What? That is absolutely impossible. And yet it happened. How about you, sir? Okay. Can you fight? No. Alright, we're going to try this again. And we're way overloaded. We didn't pay too much of a penalty. I mean, 50 half-tracks lost it, but I don't care. All right. Let's continue the crush. These guys are going to get hammered. Yep. Almost 50%. Okay, so it's not that bad. Okay, so we've still got attackers. Really? Who can go at Brest-Litovsk from any of these directions, so I'll just put them there. Wow, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in there. So I could have waited. Until the next turn. Gotten a bonus for isolating them, cutting them off, surrounding them, and encircling them is the verb I'm looking for. But I'm impatient, and so we lost 1,000, but we took out 50,000. So 50-to-1 casualty ratio ain't bad. But also this town is very important for supply chain stuff. And I'm going to put you there. Put her there. You got anybody left? No. Okay. What I like to do here is try and drive around here. You can get either behind them, behind Lvov, or knock out Przemysl. Now I'm going to move 2 units, which I frequently forget about. And then they're like lagging behind everyone. Where's that mountain division? No, really, where is it? Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'll leave them up there for the moment. See, it's a light division that has fewer calories. Okay. I'm just trying to isolate Chamichal here. One of the few places I do know how to pronounce the name of. That's pretty good. Okay. That didn't cost us a thing. All right, let's get our light infantry all organized. This fella. Got any more moves out of you guys, or no? Yeah, I would have only been able to attack with a couple of them anyway. Alright, I'm not going to leave the mountain division by itself. And I guess I'll take advantage of this opportunity to bring it towards the south. I do want it down here in the mountains. Alright, I'm going to go for the try and go around Lvov idea. And that's going to pull some units out of here, but it's going to be for the best. Can I get you one more over? Yeah. Is that it? Yep. Looks like that's it. Alright, let's have you do that. Okay, so we're on our way to isolating this. It's going to take a turn. I definitely want to come down here. Come down between Lvov and Ternopil. And try and capture all these guys. We'll see how well that works. We might want to try some compression. I know I could do this. It's money for nothing, you know. That's not where I want you. Ah, you either. Okay. Right on. Okay. Let's see if there's any more kind of scraps for us. Probably not. Maybe this. 146 versus 65. How about on this tank division? I'll take that. We got one left. All right, we really don't have the. I guess maybe. Well, if I go down there though, look at all this, right? No, too even. We don't like even odds. We want them stacked well in our favor. So again, I can't do anything down here. I believe I've done what I can here. Really too committed to 1st Panzer. Alright, we can leave this area. Nope, there's no one we can just trash him with. I'll take it. It's free. I'll leave one unit there. I prefer it was an infantry unit, but I don't have that choice yet. Okay, we got quite a bit of 4th Army left to figure out what to do with. Some movement points here. Well, can't say no to this. They're still alive. It's 153. It's not as strong as it looks, right? Stacks. No one can attack there. I know I have gotten down here in the first turn. I wonder what I did differently. But that's okay. Wow. It really wants me to leave that. Okay. This will be a big attack on this cavalry unit. Jeez, I've still got guys. What else have we got? 292. See, they can't escape. The infantry can go in there, but the tanks cannot. Interesting. All right. We got a lot of extra units here, so I'm going to pull some off to the right there. What do we got? 101. Okay, and then we've still got this left to smack the tanks with. And again, nobody got hurt on our side. That's fine. Double up. Okay, what have we got here? It's tempting. It's possible, but they're so entrenched in there, and I've only got one division. I know it's unlikely, but I'm just checking. Nope. Alright, we'll get him pretty good next turn, though. It's a shame I don't have anyone to seal this off totally. If I were them, I'd jam units into this spot, right, and try and keep this open and move a lot of any infantry that I could, I'd put in there to try and keep a way out, but kind of dumb. And we know you can't go anywhere. Okay. Vikings. Where do you want to go? Oh, backwards. Nobody goes backwards in this Wehrmacht. Okay. I think we're getting close to the end of the turn here. And I really do want to know what's going on with those officers' cards. Because I can't do nothing yet. Alright, Russian oil. So, Russian gas damages our engines. We need an additive. We need to refine it. Absolutely, I'm going to do it. Good, I just got lucky. Theater allocations. They're talking about how fuel is allocated. I'm going to leave it. Now here's our D-Day air offensive. I'm going to maintain the bombing offensive for 8 more days. That seems to make everyone happy. He's pleased, except for Brockage. Okay. Well, too bad. That's not bad. And now the mopping up security divisions. Do you want them on security or do you want them mopping up? I'm going to leave them on for a fortnight. That tends to make the local commanders happy. I'm going to do that again in Army Group South. Okay. So our meteorological report. It usually doesn't rain this early. It's too early for a performance evaluation. But I will be checked on these things. Okay, so I've gotten that done. I've done that. And that's good. Okay, I think we're done. Oh, I didn't do anything with the fins. You see? You see how easy it is to forget about the fins? That's interesting. Is it just a 2-unit attack? Yeah, it's too close. Okay. All right. Let's try to go up here and work some magic. Okay, so this is the surrender line. This is the B line, beyond which we are not allowed to go unless the Finnish say, yeah, we're good. And so I took over all this, and I was fighting them here, and I squeezed a unit. He just managed to get in behind me here and ran to that. And that was the end of it. So don't recommend that. Right. Let's begin by getting these guys started. And we want Viborg back, this city. Because we built this city on rock and roll. Let's have you up there. Trying to keep that command unit close by for the bonus. And off we go. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm going to leave them there. There's not much more that I can do right now. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is find yes, a unit. And I'm going to try and trap one. I don't know what's going on outside, if that's thunder or what. See, I've got some Karelian units fighting down here. And that's important. Okay. But next turn, I'm going to try and shove this guy down. There's a lot of them there. This is a very unusual thing. If one of these tries to dart forward, I might try and scoop him back, you know, this way, towards the west. Okay, that deals with them. Yeah, it's not enough for right now. All right. It just ends the turn. Getting ready to get out of here tomorrow and spend 10 days in Virginia and then go to the beach. So we'll try and record another episode tonight as well and release it a little later. Maybe over the weekend or something. So you've got something to watch. I have missed doing this. It was one of my faster growing channels, which isn't saying much because they're teeny tiny channels. I'm not interested in monetizing it, but I do like viewers. I do like vanity metrics. Oh, there's a retreat to Lvov. Okay. That's okay because the 4th Panzer will be down there very soon, cutting them off from any escape. Guested on a bunch of podcasts and shows and hosted a bunch lately. I started a new thing called First Year Presidents, It could use your help if you're interested in business topics. That's what it's called, First Year Presidents, the channel. You can get there from the website too, which is firstyearpresidents.com. And if you go down to the bottom, you'll see the first few episodes listed there. And then there's a teeny tiny little YouTube icon, and that'll take you straight to the channel too. All right, let's see what happened. So this is just color. Doesn't have anything to do with us. Luftwaffe is busy. 5 decisions. Okay. And I don't want these files getting too big. They get to be like a gig or two. Again, this is from our Hugo diary. You can pause and read that. All right, I'm going to save. April 25, turn 2, start. But I'm looking forward to trashing some more of these people. What I will link to below is my latest episode of the Cold Star Project. Just like everything last year, everything got paused. I got burnt out on that show. Spent at least 6 months trying to figure out like how to get the algorithm's attention, what to do to make the show better. I realized that I put an operation manual in the front of it, which turned off a lot of viewers, like talking about, you know, like the terms and conditions and that kind of thing. Nobody wants that. So I think I've improved my intros in the last 2 episodes. I started putting them out in January. And the latest one is with the past Defense Innovation Unit head, Mike Brown. He's also a defense industry venture capitalist now. And we're talking about DoD procurement. So how do they buy stuff in the DoD? And it's a tremendously slow process. It's based on 1960s Cold War mentality. Fighting the Soviets, large numbers in the platform, and slow development and stuff. So it makes us very not nimble, and the Chinese are much better at this than we are right now. So we're talking about areas of improvement. All right. I know a lot of you want to look at the stats. So ka-ching, casualty sustained. But dang, pretty good first turn, I'd say. Goddamn bugs whacked us, Johnny. One of the big things that I've enjoyed since I got back to the house, because I spent 2 months away and then came back and house hasn't been functional for 2 months, so I had to return it to that, is I got a sound system and a nice TV. It's the first time I've treated myself to something like that ever, and I turned 50 this year, so, end of last year. So enjoying things like Starship Troopers in Dolby Atmos and Saving Private Ryan and stuff, the bullets are flying all around you. It's really a hell of an experience. So that's been a lot of fun. I think my favorite movie so far has been Black Hawk Down. I've watched that several times, and the sound on that is amazing. In fact, I want to go watch it right now just thinking about it. And also Everest from, I think 2016 or something like that, about that expedition in 94, something like that, 96, somewhere in there, where a lot of people died. John Krakauer was there. Into Thin Air was his book about it. And I read that in 2001, and it was terrifying. But the sound in that movie, there's a moment where a whole bunch of wind blows through a tent, and you're sitting on the couch, and you feel like you're there. So the other thing I got is a butt kicker. And that was $400. You can get these actuators for cheaper and put them in your couch yourself, but I didn't want to go through that. But it's literally a big heavy motor with a solenoid, and it shakes your couch. So you don't want it going on all the time. But for explosions and stuff like that, you can set the sensitivity. When it goes boom and the couch moves, that you notice. I have a girlfriend over. Everybody, they said, I saw this on a forum, and I agree. Nobody talks about your $10,000 surround sound system, but they never forget that you shook their butt. So that was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It makes it such an immersive experience. She said it was better than the theater. Just watching that. So, of course, she's biased, but I don't think she'd say anything if it was dumb or boring. All right, we've got a few more decisions. Let's look through our daily logs. Yeah, there's a lot of either thunder or a jet going by, which is very strange. This is not normally an airline. Okay, everything's going pretty good. Okay, so we've got somewhere where, they're blocked. Of course, we haven't thought our way through that. I think it's the 6th Army that's sitting there. Army Group Center. Mechanical failures. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we picked up some points. Army Group South. With a von Rundstedt, you have to roll your R's like it's Tolkien in The Lord of the Rings. Numenor. Got some issues here. That's interesting. They're just starter units, though. Alright, staff doesn't tell us very much. Intel, I don't know. I've never really looked at this, and I don't know what that means at all. It's pretty new, so these mean nothing yet. And does our aide de camp say anything? No, not really. Other things you want to look at, you can look at battle reports and see if they fought back. They did not in the north. They're too scared. One fight near Bialystok where they did counterattack, but we were fine. Said we took heavy casualties. That's not fun. And they didn't do anything in Army Group South either. Another thing you want to take a look at, keep an eye on. You don't have to look at it every turn, but if like suddenly you have no fuel, this is a good report to look at. These logistics reports for each zone. So it'll tell you like, hey, you had no fuel because it's all up here. It came out from Königsberg. The trains were running. This is how many. Then it got onto the trucks at the end of the railhead and was delivered. How many trucks did it take? We've got a lot. We've got a huge surplus of trucks right now in an Army Group North. I think it is Thunder. Huh. And, yeah, we're... I don't know how we're doing related to how many the Panzer units need, but it's nice to know. This is very good. I'm very happy with that number. And these will drop. These numbers will drop because your trucks will get worn out and they will need maintenance, and you will spend political points in doing that. Yeah, and you want to check your rail capacity and your truck columns especially. But you'll see the problems up here before you come down here and notice like, oh, later on, I don't have enough trucks, right? And it'll give you a thing over here, a choice to make of where you want to get the trucks from and how many. And it'll piss some people off, whatever you decide, because that's the way that cookie crumbles. All right. So go ahead and look for that link below to the Cold Star Project interview with Mike Brown. Let me know what you think of the intro. The first one, the space piracy one, took me 7 hours to put together that intro because I've got to figure out like what I want it to look like. What clips do I want? Movie clips or whatever. Go get them, download them. That's the part that takes the longest. And then assemble it to tell the story with the limited amount of space that I have. So I might download something that's like 45 minutes and use 4 seconds of it. So, this time it was much faster, but I had pre-done a lot of things. I downloaded all the stuff. But I started at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, and I didn't finish till 3:30, and I just worked the whole way through. So it takes a long time to put these together, even though the majority of it is already recorded, the Zoom meeting where we're talking. But the intros, I don't know, from my perspective, I'm putting a lot of value into them, and I hope people appreciate it. All right. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed and you're new here, feel free. If you like this kind of game, if you want to run and gun, this probably isn't going to be for you. But, every bit helps the channel, right? Views, shares. If you know somebody would like this kind of content, but, they're not going to know this exists. Let's just show it to them. And I appreciate the support. All right, thanks for watching.